Hey, welcome to Two Doctors Homestead. My name's Daniel. Hopefully there's not too much background noise here. The cicadas are going a little crazy, but I wanted to do four books for new preppers. So we did 5 books for new preppers, and there were a few books I just didn't get a chance to cover, so I wanted to follow up with 4 more books. These don't necessarily replace the first 5, but if you got those 5 and you already read them, I'm going to give you 4 more books. First one is How to Survive the End of the World by James Wesley Rawls. It's actually a great book for new preppers. It kind of goes over everything you might need at a high level to get into prepping, and it's category by category. So survival retreat, water the key resource, deep larder, fuel and home power, gardens and livestock, medical supplies and training, communications and monitoring, home security, self-defense, and it keeps going. So this is a great book to get you started. Honestly, if you only had one book, you can only afford one book, only had time to read one book, I would certainly consider this as a good starter book. It even gets into investing and barter. So it's a good get you in the door if you don't know a lot about prepping, but you want to learn. Certainly something to think about. So the second book we're featuring here is Prepping with Rice and Beans. Sorry, the cookbook, 105 tasty survival recipes with rice, with beans and rice. I can't talk. So if you've got your big prepper pantry with stacks of bags of rice and beans all stacked to the roof, what are you going to cook? Well, this is actually a decent little cookbook here that goes through different recipes with rice and beans. So it might give you a little variety, keep your morale up, keep you sane when the SH hits the fan. All right, so next book I want to jump into, and this might be a surprise, Building Chicken Coops for Dummies. Can't speak. So you might wonder why I'm throwing this in there, and this is not so much just about building chicken coops. You might not be interested in building chicken coops. When we built the turkey coop, I had a lot of people drop comments saying, hey, how do I learn how to do that, right? If you don't have a background in basic construction, this actually will help you out. So that's why I'm throwing this out. It's more than just building chicken coops. It's carpentry skills. So cutting sheet goods, it calls it, nailing, screwing things in place, joining pieces at tricky angles. It's actually a basic carpentry tutorial book, obviously focused on building chicken coops, but if you can build a proper chicken coop, you could probably build anything. So how to use your speed squares. So if you don't have that carpentry background, you don't spend a lot of time building things, you want to build a coop or maybe even a shed, something like that, I would recommend this book, even installing posts in the ground. So it is a decent starter book to get you going down that road. And once again, prepping is a lot about skills, right? So having that carpentry experience under your belt could help out in any kind of Shtf situation or any situation, including just your basic homesteading, right? You want to have that carpentry skills to fall back on when you're boarding up your windows because the zombies are trying to break in. You want to know how to swing a hammer. That book will help you out. So the 4th book I want to hit on, this is 1 Second After. It is by William Forstchen. Got to be careful saying that, Forstchen. So this is obviously a fiction. This is a fiction novel, but it is well written, and a lot of people are crediting him for kind of starting the modern prepper movement. I'm a 2nd generation prepper. My dad was a survivalist. I grew up prepping, doing bug out drills. This came out in 2009, so I'm a little older than the book. So we certainly didn't start prepping, but I think he gave a lot of awareness, and that's really where the book does. If you're not in that prepping mindset and you wonder, hey, what might life be like after an EMP attack? What areas haven't I thought of? Something like this is a good thought exercise. It's actually a multi-book series starting with 1 second after, meaning 1 second after the EMP pops, right? And that's certainly a possible scenario. I'm not going to say plausible. I don't know the likelihood of an EMP going off. We certainly hope it never happens to our country. It'll be horrible, and this kind of gets in to a little bit of that horrible, and might give you ideas on things you haven't prepared or might want to try to prepare for some situation like that. But you look at what's going on in the world right now, there's certainly a high risk of World War III, and any kind of World War III scenario where the United States is directly involved on the ground against something like Russia or China, the possibility of an EMP attack against the United States goes up dramatically, unfortunately. Not that I want it to happen or that I'm trying to create panic, right? It's all hypothetical at this point until perhaps someday it isn't. But if you're staying in hypothetical, this is a good book. Get your mind going. Get into some of that prepper fiction. So these are 4 more books to add to your collection. Once again, it doesn't replace the first 5, but I couldn't hit on everything I wanted to in 5. So take a look. I hope this helps out. Thank you for watching, and we appreciate you.